Ho, ho, ho! Happy holidays and Merry Christmas from legendary Alex Cardinale.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to On the Case with me, Detective Alex Cardinale, where I break down crimes that shocked America and the world. Today, I, Detective Alex Cardinale, am going to talk about a crime that happened nearly 100 years ago, but it's a crime that for sure rocked and shocked America to its core. When this crime happened, it implemented new laws, and these laws went in effect to protect infants and young children. So I'm pretty sure that I have a lot of parents that are watching this video, and I'm sure at one point you were all raising infants. Imagine someone coming into your house, abducting and kidnapping your baby infant, and leaving a ransom note demanding thousands upon thousands of dollars for the return of your infant safely. It does happen. A lot of people say that it's a very rare occurrence, but there are people ballsy enough out there that would steal an infant for ransom. Once someone finds out that you're really rich and you have a lot of money, they're going to take something that you hold near and dear to your heart, in which case would be an infant or a baby. They're going to take that, use that as an advantage to try to get thousands and maybe even millions of dollars from you. And sometimes the child is returned safely, and sometimes it is not. In today's case, unfortunately, the child was killed. The 20-month-old was found deceased 2 months later. Now, how many of you have seen the movie Baby's Day Out, where the infant is kidnapped and abducted, and he goes all throughout New York City, and at the end, he's reunited with his parents? That movie is based on today's crime. In reality, the crime is much sadder because the infant that was kidnapped was killed by a German immigrant. So very, very sad case. Jeff is in the house. He says, hey, bro, what's up? How are you doing? Legendary A.C.E in the house. I am doing great. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the show today. So very sad crime we're going to talk about today. Again, this case is almost over 100 years old, but it definitely has shocked America. So today we're going to talk about a infamous infant kidnapping from the 1930s that changed America and created some stricter laws when it comes to infant kidnapping and infant endangerment. So we're going to talk about the Lindbergh baby kidnapping that happened in 1932. I'm going to discuss everything you need to know about it, and I'm going to talk about the kidnapping and the crime, and we'll share our thoughts on this case at the end. So I hope you're ready to learn about this crime. As always, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. So now let's learn about this crime. Here is what to know about the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. Now, his parents were famous pilots. They were Charles Lindbergh and Anne Morrow Lindbergh, and they were very successful pilots. They flew across all around the world, and Charles was a famed pilot. So the person that abducted their child knew that they had a lot of money for being very successful pilots. And on June 22nd, 1930, Charles Lindbergh and Anne Lindberg gave birth to their son, Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. So Charles Augustus was only 20 months old when he was kidnapped and murdered. On March 1st, 1932, Charles Augustus Lindbergh, the 20-month-old son of aviators Charles Lindbergh and Anne Lindberg, was abducted from his crib in the upper floor of the Lindbergh's home, Highfields in East Amwell, New Jersey, in the United States. On May 12th, the child's corpse was discovered by a truck driver by the side of a nearby road. In September 1934, 2 years after the murder and kidnapping, a German immigrant carpenter named Bruno Richard Hauptmann was arrested for the crime. After a trial that lasted from January 2nd to February 13th, 1935, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. Despite his conviction, he continued to profess his innocence, but all appeals failed, and he was executed in the electric chair at the New Jersey State Prison on April 3rd, 1936. Now, the electric chair is slowly being retired across the country. I know for a fact here in Florida, inmates that had the death penalty have a choice of either getting lethal injection or the electric chair. I think electric chair should be reserved for really, really serious crimes like the killing of an infant or the killing of a pregnant mother or a capital murder like a police officer. I think that is when you use the electric chair, because the electric chair is a really harsh way to die and a really harsh way to kill somebody. But that is just my personal opinion. 100 years ago, electric chair was the way that they killed people that did serious crimes. Newspaper writer H.L. Mencken called the kidnapping and trial the biggest story since the resurrection. Legal scholars have referred to the trial as one of the trials of the century. The crime spurred Congress to pass the Federal Kidnapping Act, commonly called the Little Lindbergh Law, which made transporting a kidnapping victim across state lines a federal crime. So that is what to know about this kidnapping and the murder of young Charles Lindbergh. So sad that it happened. All right, so now let's learn about the kidnapping and the crime, shall we? So let's learn about the kidnapping and the crime. At approximately 10 p.m. on March 1st, 1932, the Lindbergh's nurse, Betty Gow, found that 20-month-old Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. was not with his mother, Anne Lindberg, who had just come out of the bathtub. Gow then alerted Charles Lindbergh, who immediately went to the child's room, where he found a ransom note containing bad handwriting and grammar in an envelope on the windowsill. So imagine someone tells you your child's missing, then you go to the child's room and you find a ransom note on the windowsill of your child's room. That had to have been something that will always be in that guy's mind, and it had to drive him crazy. Taking a gun, Lindbergh went around the house and grounds with family butler Ollie Watley. They found impressions in the ground under the window of the baby's room, pieces of a wooden ladder, and a baby's blanket. Watley telephoned the Hopewell Police Department, while Lindbergh contacted his attorney and friend Henry Breckinridge and the New Jersey State Police. Hopewell Borough Police and New Jersey State Police officers conducted an extensive search of the home and its surrounding area. After midnight, a fingerprint expert examined the ransom note and ladder. No usable fingerprints or footprints were found, leading experts to conclude that the kidnappers wore gloves and had some type of cloth on the soles of their shoes. No adult fingerprints were found in the baby's room, including in areas witnesses admitted to touching, such as the windows, but the baby's fingerprints were found. So here's something to note about the ransom note. It was written terribly. It had awful writing, poor writing, which is accurate for a German immigrant. The brief handwritten ransom note had many spelling and grammar irregularities. Here is the ransom note, and I'm going to read it verbatim for you guys. Dear Sir, have $50,000 ready, $25,000 in $20 bills, $15,000 in $10 bills, and $100,000 in $5 bills. After 2 to 4 days, we will inform you where to deliver the money. We warn you for making anything public or for notify the police. The child is in gut care. Indication for all letters are signature and 3 holes. So obviously, a lot of mistakes there. He meant to put $1,000 in $500 in 500 bills. At the bottom of the note were 2 interconnected blue circles surrounding a red circle with a hole punched through the red circle and 2 more holes to the left and right. On further examination of the ransom note by professionals, they found that it was all written by the same person. They determined that due to the odd English, the writer must have been foreign and had spent some but little time in America. The FBI then found a sketch artist to make a portrait of the man that they believed to be the kidnapper. Another attempt on identifying the kidnapper was looking at the ladder that was used in the crime to abduct the child. Police realized that the ladder was not built correctly, but was built by someone who knew how to construct with wood and had prior experience in building. The ladder was examined for fingerprints, but none were found. Even slivers of the ladder had been examined, with the police believing that the examination of this evidence would lead to the kidnapper. They had professionals see how many different types of wood were used, pattern made by the nail holes, and if it was made indoors or outdoors. This would later be a key element in the trial of the man who was accused of kidnapping the Lindbergh baby. On March 2nd, 1932, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover got in contact with the Trenton, New Jersey Police Department. He told the New Jersey police that they could contact the FBI for any resources and would provide any assistance if needed. The FBI did not have federal jurisdiction until on May 13th, 1932, the president declared that the FBI was at the disposal of the New Jersey Police Department and the FBI should coordinate and conduct the investigation and help solve the case. The New Jersey State Police offered a $25,000 reward for anyone who could provide information pertaining to the case. Word of the kidnapping spread quickly. Hundreds of people converged on the estate, destroying any footprint evidence. Along with police, well-connected and well-intended people arrived at the Lindbergh estate. Military colonels offered their aid, although only one had law enforcement expertise. Herbert Norman Swarperfas, superintendent of the New Jersey State Police. Sorry, I mispronounced his name, but he helped as well. The other colonels were Henry Skillman Breckinridge, a Wall Street lawyer, and William Donovan, a hero of the First World War, who would later head the Office of Strategic Services, the forerunner of the CIA. Lindbergh and these men speculated that the kidnapping was perpetrated by organized crime figures. They thought that the letter was written by someone who spoke German as his native language. At this time, Charles Lindbergh used his influence to control the direction of the investigation. They contacted Mickey Rosner, a Broadway hanger-on rumored to know mobsters. Rosner turned to two speakeasy owners, Salvatore Salvi Spatali and Irving Bitts, for aid. Lindbergh quickly endorsed the duo and appointed them his intermediaries to deal with the mob. Several organized crime figures, notably Al Capone, Willie Moretti, Joe Adonis, and Abner Zillman, spoke from prison, offering to help return the baby in exchange for money or for legal favors. Specifically, Capone offered assistance in return for being released from prison under the pretense that his assistance would be more effective. This was quickly denied by the authorities. The morning after the kidnapping, authorities notified President Herbert Hoover of the crime. At that time, kidnapping was classified as a state crime, and the case did not seem to have any grounds for federal involvement. Attorney General William Mitchell met with Hoover and announced that the whole machinery of the Department of Justice would be set in motion to cooperate with the New Jersey authorities. The Bureau of Investigation, later the FBI, was authorized to investigate the case, while the United States Coast Guard, the U.S. Customs Service, the U.S. Immigration Service, and the Metropolitan Police Department of the District of Columbia were told their services might be required. New Jersey officials announced a $25,000 reward for the safe return of little Lindy. The Lindbergh family offered an additional $50,000 reward of their own. At this time, the total reward of $75,000, which was approximately equivalent to $100,186 currently, was a tremendous sum of money because the nation was in the midst of the Great Depression. On March 6th, a new ransom letter arrived by mail at the Lindbergh home. The letter was postmarked March 4th in Brooklyn, and it carried the perforated red and blue marks. The ransom had been raised to $70,000. A third ransom note postmarked from Brooklyn and also including the secret marks arrived in Brickridge's mail. The note told the Lindberghs that John Cardinale should be the intermediary between the Lindberghs and the kidnappers and requested notification in a newspaper that the third note had been received. Instructions specified the size of the box the money should come in and warned the family not to contact the police. During this time, John Condon, a well-known Bronx personality and retired school teacher, offered $1,000 if the kidnapper would turn the child over to a Catholic priest. Condon received a letter reportedly written by the kidnappers. It authorized Condon to be their intermediary with Lindbergh. Lindbergh accepted the letter as genuine. Following the kidnappers' latest instructions, Condon placed a classified ad in the New York American reading, "Money is ready, A.C.E." Condon then waited for further instructions from the culprits. A meeting between A.C.E. and a representative of the group that claimed to be the kidnappers was eventually scheduled for late one evening at Woodland Lawn Cemetery in the Bronx. According to Condon, the man sounded foreign but stayed in the shadows during the conversation, and Condon was thus unable to get a close look at his face. The man said his name was John, and he related his story. He was a Scandinavian sailor, part of a gang of 3 men and 2 women. The baby was being held on a boat unharmed, but would only be returned for ransom. When Condon expressed doubt that John actually had the baby, he promised some proof. The kidnapper would soon return the baby's sleeping suit. The stranger asked Condon, "Would I burn if the package were dead?" When questioned further, he assured Condon that the baby was alive. On March 16th, Condon received a toddler's sleeping suit by mail and a 7th ransom note. After Lindbergh identified the sleeping suit, Condon placed a new ad in the home news. "Money is ready. No cops, no Secret Service. I come alone like last time." On April 1st, Condon received a letter saying it was time for the ransom to be delivered. The ransom was packaged in a wooden box that was custom made in the hope that it could be later identified. The ransom money included a number of gold certificates. Since gold certificates were about to be withdrawn from circulation, it was hoped greater attention would be drawn to anyone spending them. The bills were not marked, but their serial numbers were recorded. Some sources credit this idea to Franklin J. Wilson, others to Elmer Lincoln Eyre. On April 2nd, Condon was given a note by an intermediary, an unknown cab driver. Condon met John and told him that they had been able to raise only $50,000. The man accepted the money and gave Condon a note saying that the children was in the care of 2 innocent women. Now it's time to get to the sad, tragic day of this crime. It's always tragic when kidnappings end like this. On May 12th, delivery truck driver Orville Wilson and his assistant William Allen pulled to the side of a road of about 4.5 miles south of the Lindbergh home near the hamlet of Mount Rose in neighboring Hopewell Township. When Allen went into a grove of trees to urinate, he discovered the body of a toddler. The skull was badly fractured and the body decomposed, with evidence of scavenging by animals. There were indications of an attempted hasty burial. Gao identified the baby as the missing infant from the overlapping toes of the right foot and a shirt that she had made. It appeared the child had been killed by a blow to the head. Lindbergh, his father, insisted on cremation. That must have been a terrible day for that family to find their young boy murdered in such an evil fashion, and to find him decomposed and animals picking on him. That must have been even worse. But to know that your child was kidnapped and these people were demanding money even though that they knew that this child was killed is just sickening. Very, very, very bad. And I feel for the mother and father of this young infant, even though this case is over 100 years old almost. In June 1932, officials began to suspect that the crime had been perpetrated by someone the Lindberghs knew. Suspicion fell upon Violet Sharp, a British household servant at the Morrow home, who had given contradictory information regarding her whereabouts on the night of the kidnapping. It was reported that she appeared nervous and suspicious when questioned. She died by suicide on June 10, 1932, by ingesting a silver polish that contained cyanide just before being questioned for the fourth time. Her alibi was later confirmed, and police were criticized for heavy-handedness. Condon was also questioned by police, and his home was searched, but nothing suggestive was found. Charles Lindbergh stood by Condon during this time. After the discovery of the body, Condon remained unofficially involved in the case. To the public, he had become a suspect and in some circles was vilified. For the next 2 years, he visited police departments and pledged to find Cemetery John. The investigators who were working on the case were soon at a standstill. There were no developments and little evidence of any sort, so police turned their attention to tracking the ransom payments. A pamphlet was prepared with the serial numbers on the ransom bills, and 250,000 copies were distributed to businesses, mainly in New York City. A few of the ransom bills appeared in scattered locations, some as far away as Chicago and Minneapolis, but those spending the bills were never found. By a presidential order, all gold certificates were to be exchanged for other bills by May 1st, 1933. A few days before the deadline, a man brought $2,980 to a Manhattan bank for exchange. It was later realized the bills were from the ransom. He had given his name as J.J. Faulkner of 537 West 149 Street. No one named Faulkner lived at that address, and a Jane Faulkner, who had lived there 20 years earlier, denied involvement. During a 30-month period, a number of the ransom bills were spent throughout New York City. Detectives realized that many of the bills were being spent along the route of the Leggington Avenue subway, which connected the Bronx with the east side of Manhattan, including the German-Austrian neighborhood of Yorkville. On September 18, 1934, a Manhattan bank teller noticed a gold certificate for New York license plate number penciled in the bill's margin, allowed it to be traced to a nearby gas station. The station manager had written down the license number because his customer was acting suspicious and was possibly a counterfeiter. The license plate belonged to a sedan owned by Richard Hauptman of 1279 East 22nd Street in the Bronx, an immigrant with a criminal record in Germany. When Hauptman was arrested, he was carrying a single $20 gold certificate and over $14,000 of the ransom money was found in his garage. Hauptmann was arrested, interrogated, and beaten at least once through the following day and night. Hauptmann stated that the money and other items had been left with him by his friend and former business partner, Isidor Fish. Fish had died on March 29, 1934, shortly after returning to Germany. Hauptmann stated he learned only after Fish's death that the shoebox that was left with him contained a considerable amount of money. He kept the money because he claimed that it was owed to him from a business deal that he and Fish had made. Hauptmann consistently denied any connection to the crime or knowledge that the money in his house was from the ransom. When the police searched Hauptmann's home, they found a considerable amount of additional evidence that linked him to the crime. One item was a notebook that contained a sketch of the construction of a ladder similar to that which was found at the Lindbergh home in March 1932. John Condon's telephone number, along with his address, were discovered written on a closet wall in the house. A key piece of evidence, a section of wood, was discovered in the attic of the home. After being examined by an expert, it was determined to be an exact match to the wood used in the construction of the ladder found at the scene of the crime. Hauptmann was indicted in the Bronx on September 24, 1934, for extorting the $50,000 ransom from Charles Lindbergh. 2 weeks later, on October 8th, Hauptmann was indicted in New Jersey for the murder of 20-month-old Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. 2 days later, he was surrendered to New Jersey authorities by New York Governor Herbert H. Lehman to face charges directly related to the kidnapping and murder of the child. Hauptmann was charged with capital murder. Hauptmann turned down a large offer from a Hertz newspaper for a confession and refused a last-minute offer to commute his sentence from the death penalty to life without parole in exchange for a confession. Ultimately, he did get the death penalty, and he was killed and electrocuted on April 3rd, 1936. And that, my friends, is the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, America's most infamous infant kidnapping and murder, a very, very sad crime that happened nearly 100 years ago. So my thoughts on this case: it is definitely a sad case. I mean, why would you want to harm an innocent 20-month-old baby? I know that money was the motive, and people will do anything they can to get their hands on money, and that means they would kidnap an infant, an innocent young human. And they did that because they know that their parents are going to pay whatever amount of money that they have to get their infant back. So this is just a very, very sad crime. And it happened over 100 years ago. But it's a crime that Americans can look back at and learn from, because now parents must realize that you always have to babysit your infants every minute of the day, even at nighttime, especially if you're rich, because someone can come in, kidnap your infant, and demand a ransom. So always keep an eye on your child. And remember, the movie Baby's Day Out was based off of this crime. Well, I hope you learned a lot about the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. I had a great time talking about it here on this episode of On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale. On my next crime episode, which is going to be the final On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale of 2022, I'm going to talk about a bank robber who stole to support his drug addiction. I'm going to talk about Anthony Hathaway, who constantly stole from up to 16 banks. That's next time here on the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale. And don't forget, if you're new to my channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinale. Merry Christmas, everyone. Stay safe. If you see something, say something. If you see a crime in progress, don't be afraid to call 911. Thank you for watching and have a great day, everybody. Happy holidays, everyone. Legendary Alex Cardinale here. I am a YouTuber and I'm also a live streamer here on Facebook. Heck, you may have already seen some of my live streams. Today, I'm here to tell you that I'm an official video creator here on Facebook, and you, my viewers, can show support by sending me some stars here on Facebook. What exactly are stars? Well, stars are your way to show your support for all the live stream videos that I create. You purchase stars, and the purchase that you make for the stars goes directly towards me, and it'll help me create high quality live streams and high quality content in return for you. So in a way, it's your way of showing your appreciativeness for my awesome content that I give to you. I think it is something really cool that Facebook is allowing me to do. So the next time you watch one of my live streams on Facebook, please consider sending a star. It could be any amount that you want. I have never ever had a Facebook star sent to me, so you could be the first, the second, the third, the fourth, or hell, by the time this video is uploaded, the 100th. But I will be forever grateful if you send me a Facebook star and show your love and support. Because in the next few months, I've got some great videos coming your way. I've got the 800th video coming up on my YouTube channel that'll also stream live right here on Facebook. I've got my 9-year YouTube anniversary, which is now going to be a 9-year live streamer anniversary. That's going to stream right here on Facebook also. So all those great videos, any of the support stars that I get, all those donation funds will go towards prize giveaways for big anniversaries like the 9-year anniversary and things like that. So also consider that. Anyway, as always, I appreciate you watching my videos. I hope you enjoy them. And if you really love my video, and I mean if you really enjoyed the video, then kindly consider sending some stars and showing some love and support by sending some Facebook stars so I can start earning some money from these awesome live streams that I do. Because I really do put a lot of hard work and effort into them. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Legendary Alex Cardinale saying, keep it real, keep it legendary, and stay legendary, everybody. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Santa Claus Alex Cardinale here, inviting you to be a part of the second annual Christmas Bash. Live Friday, December 23rd, 2022, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinale. Celebrate Christmas 2 days early with me, the legendary Santa Claus Alex Cardinale. It's going to be a fun Christmas bash this year. Why? Well, I have a special guest Santa coming on the show. Who will the special guest Santa be on the Christmas 2022 bash? Plus, there will be appearances by Chef Alex Cardinale, who makes some delicious cookies. Chef Alex will show you how to make a cannoli cookie. And there will be an appearance by Aqua Alex, who will show you Christmas-themed fish. And many other Christmas surprises. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Join me, Santa Claus Alex Cardinale, for the second annual Christmas Bash, Friday, December 23rd, 2022, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on my YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinale. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.